I think we're all good. Y'all are.
Welcome back to Dirt Kings Podcast. I am here today with Bart. My name is Sarah. If you've watched previous episodes, you have seen us talk. We chit-chat a little bit. We talk about some soil health, some products that we carry, different things like that. Today, here with Bart, he is our newest AgriTec soil advisor. So we're kind of going to go through some questions he had when he started, talk through some of the most interesting things that he's kind of dealt with so far in this last year with us, and just have some fun. So we hope you're having a great day, and let's get started. Bart, how are you doing?
I'm doing excellent today. Thank you very much.
Good. So you started with us this year. Tell me a little bit about that. How's it been?
I did. It's been absolutely amazing. The hardest thing about starting the job was finding the entranceway to the building.
There is like four doors.
If you don't know,
five doors.
when you come down the road to our business, you actually have to come in kind of a side little entrance here.
Yes.
And if you don't know where it's at, you will make the loop 3 times prior to your interview. And
unless you're my husband, last year he missed the turnoff into our building, and it had been raining a ton, and so he decided instead, because he drove a BMW at the time, it was like I don't know BMW as well, but it was like a 535i or something like that. He decided to go from this parking lot over here through the dirt and the trees to get to this parking lot because, that makes sense, right? Shortcut. He got stuck. I had to have everybody go out and push him out. So at least you made loops. You didn't get stuck. You got that going for you. We weren't hiring him, so we're good.
Well, no, Rednecks R Us showed up that day. So, yeah, my bride, when she brought me lunch one day, missed it 4 times.
Oh, did she really?
And if she hadn't found it on the 5th time, I was going to go get my own lunch. So,
Just stand out on the corner and be like, babe, I'm hungry.
pretty much that's how we did it.
Go get me. Oh, that's great. So tell me a little bit about kind of your interest with this. I know that this is kind of different than what you've done previously as far as dealing with soil and farmers and all of that kind of stuff. What do you like about it so far?
I love the fact that I learn something new every day, truthfully. There's so much to know in this industry that I hate feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah.
The problem is, right now I feel overwhelmed almost every day because if you've seen Nathan before, you have to understand he is probably the smartest person I've ever met, and he's forgotten more than I'll ever know.
Yes.
So he'll bring up something, and once I hear something, I'm like a bulldog. I have to find out everything I can about it. And so the learning curve here has been through the roof.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to a person's livelihood, their farm, their animals. I take that very personal. And when I'm recommending something for them, I want to make sure I'm doing the right thing.
The right thing. Yes, I will agree with you 100% about Nathaniel. Nathaniel is one of those people, and I've joked about this before, that I feel like I'm a pretty decently smart person most of the time. I feel like I know things, and then I start hearing him talk, and I'm like, never mind, I'm dumb. I don't know anything.
Oh, no,
I know nothing.
I know that I'm one step above dragging my knuckles on the ground any single day. So it has
So then
been,
you hear him talking, you're like, what? Write that down. Say it again. Let me record you. I've actually done that before with Nathaniel. He started talking. I'm like, hang on. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm trying to record what you're saying because I'm never going to remember. So just don't touch him. Pretend it's not there. And I've literally recorded him talk before, so that way I would remember things. Especially just like listening to him talk to farmers and things like that, and just his knowledge, especially in the row crop industry, all of them, but really in row crop. He knows a lot. He's very smart. Obviously, we're dealing with farmers in this industry. What so far do you have a favorite crop that you like to deal with?
Honestly, I go back to a little bit of my roots. We had 80 acres down in Hillsboro, Texas, and so we were kind of weekendish farmers.
Yeah.
So we went down there, we planted, we did everything we could. What we learned is that peanuts bring in deer real quickly, and you won't have much left. So I think we were harvesting deer at that point versus a real crop.
Well, it would have been really good if you were having hunting parties and
No,
having
true.
people pay you to come in, but
True.
otherwise not so good.
No. Honestly, probably for me, I really enjoy your vineyards and your orchards.
Yeah.
Probably the most, because no two are ever the same.
Right.
And the studies of what they do and how they do it is a never-ending cycle of just looking things up.
Yeah, definitely. I really like, I would say mine is probably hay and pasture. And that's probably because in the states and the territories that I do, a lot of it is hay and pasture. And so I've gotten to know it really well over the years, but my favorite would probably be hay and pasture. I also like talking to livestock guys or even people with equine because I really love horses. Like there's this house on Zillow near us that I cannot afford, but I still look every day to see if it's still up for sale because I want it so bad. It's on like 7 acres with a horse barn and everything. I show my husband, I'm like, look, it's still there. He's like, that's nice. I'm like, but look. He's like, it doesn't matter. I'm like, but look. just look at it and drool with me one day. So I really do. I like hay and pasture a lot. Since you've started and you've come in, you've learned a lot. You've picked it up really quickly. Was there any questions in the beginning or something that you were just like, as a new guy, you feel like somebody that you're talking to should know?
Truly, don't ever be afraid to ask a question. In my few years on this earth, the first thing I've learned is no one can know everything.
Right.
But don't be afraid to pipe up and ask.
Yeah.
If you don't, you might take something back that's negative for you versus a positive. And the last thing you want, anything associated with soil health, your animals, your family, is something potentially bad out there.
Right. What is one of your favorite questions that you've been asked so far? Because by a farmer, I know that a lot of times, like you're saying, every day is kind of new. You're constantly learning different things. The industry is also changing very rapidly right now. I feel like just in terms of there used to be, predominantly this was how you set, this is what you put down, this is what you put down to get this yield. And the industry has changed a lot over the years. But what was I asking?
I think
Your favorite question?
so. I've got two favorite.
Oh, yeah, the
I've
ones
got
that
two
you've been
favorite
asked.
questions. And the first one is if anybody brings up needing calcium for their ponds or lagoons or
Yeah.
something like that, I've gone in full bore tilt.
You get nerd out a little bit?
Yes, because I was like, you do what?
Right.
We need this for what? Okay, let's talk
That's a
about
new
this.
one, yeah.
I'm all in.
Right.
Plus the math of trying to figure out how much you need with the depth and the acreage and all that. It's just really cool to me. The second one is literally just tell me about it.
Right.
I love when people go tell me about it. I'm like, I win.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk.
Right.
And I try not to go too far on the science side of it with people. I've always been really good at reading people and seeing how can I help you pretty
Yeah.
quickly. And it's just fun to figure out because the difference between like me and Sarah is Sarah has a set territory. I've got the entire U.S.
Yes.
So I have to be just dangerous enough to be able to talk to you about
Anything.
everything.
All the things. Yep.
I got a good lesson last week on the West Coast, Oregon, Washington State. I was like, it rains how much? Can I put this out before it rains? And I'm like, lady, you ain't got a choice.
Yeah, right. If you don't, we'll never get it down, so you probably should.
So, again, I talked to the Master Blaster back there, and he said, yeah, just don't do it when the soil, it's so rainy, it's going to wash it off.
Right.
So that was her
When
only
it's so
option.
soaked, yeah. That is a crazy thing, and we've talked, who doesn't talk about the weather a lot, right? But we have talked about the weather quite a bit in these podcasts. It is really crazy, just as far as timing-wise on things you're applying or planting, how different it can be from state to state.
Oh, yes.
So different from state to state. Right now in Texas, we haven't had rain in forever. We finally get look at your weather map and you're like, oh my gosh, there's little water droplets. We're going to get some rain. And then you look at your app 24 hours later and the rain has magically disappeared and we're not getting rain anymore. Whereas you've got other states that are getting too much, and that's been happening kind of all year. But it is, as far as covering the whole U.S., knowing kind of everything. You kind of have to know everything that's going on across the country and where they're sitting, what's going on with it, to be able to best help them out with a game plan for this fall and then a game plan coming around back in the spring.
Absolutely.
What questions did you have, for us when you first started, that you felt like were the most helpful?
Oof. And that's a good one. Let me give you a little background. So my entire background has been in sales of some sort somewhere,
Right.
doing something. Now, usually it's hard goods, not a beneficial product. It's something you have to do
Yes.
this, or this. So I actually cut my teeth in agriculture on our family farm. And then my company moved me to Kansas for 16 years to supply AGCO with all of their hardware. So I kind of learned what all of the machinery does.
Right.
Didn't know to an extent why,
Yeah.
but I was actually involved in some of the field trials that they had for their machinery and how we could do better with less money
Right.
out there and what would and wouldn't work. So that was my first real eye-opener. And then moving back to Texas with my bride and being around the family, and this came up, and I'm like, well, I've got a skill set in there.
Yeah.
I got the selling. And on any given Thursday, I'm pretty smart.
Right.
So I tried to, come out. I was like, okay, well, I probably should know a little bit about the company before I show up.
Yes.
And that's it's probably a lost talent these days during some interview processes. But
to look us up.
I'd done a little bit of research online, and then I actually talked to Nathaniel, I think the second interview, and he gave me probably that much of, there we go, that much literature.
Somewhere.
Yeah, it's not helping you there, that much literature on what we do. And I went home, read through it, and I'm like, man, this stuff's cool.
Right. We have a lot of literature.
Yeah,
we have
yes.
almost, I would say it's phenomenal, but it's almost an overwhelming amount of research
Yes.
and literature that we have put together. That sometimes, like, I even send it to guys, and I'm like, I should tell you a page number to look at, because you're going to start flipping through this and be like, oh my gosh, what?
Yes.
Because there is so much. Like when we actually, so we have an entire research booklet from, research we've done at universities, from ones we've done at independent facilities. And when you look at it online, you're like, oh, okay, this isn't so bad. And then when we print it off, I'm telling you, this thing is like this thick. Like if someone breaks in, because we were talking about someone breaking into my house earlier, I should just keep that by the bed and whack them with it, because that thing's thick. It would hurt.
Yeah.
So we do have a lot of literature and research. Outside of this, though, what do you kind of like to do? Tell me about some hobbies. I know you're a cigar guy.
I am definitely a cigar guy. Luckily, we really don't have a smoking patio up here.
No.
My wife would really appreciate that, though.
So you save it all for when you get home, and she's like, go back outside, take a shower.
Yes, we do. I do.
Yes.
Yes, I do. So you obviously live with that guy, too. So
Well, I mean, you did take an afternoon what was that, like 2 or 3 Fridays ago?
Oh, yeah.
You pulled a chair outside and
yeah.
got an injury, which we don't have workers' comp, so
Yeah.
his injury was on himself.
I am. All the scars in my body and the fact that some appendages don't move occasionally like they
Yes.
should. I have hurt myself so bad over the years. But all the stories are hilarious.
Right.
Yeah. So I did. I took an afternoon. It was pretty much just me.
I think it was just
I think I was the only one here, and I'm like, I'm going to go outside and have a cigar.
Nobody's here.
Now, what you can't see is for 40 years, I wore nothing but boots.
Right.
Either from parade dress to steel toes to my work boots to my field boots, whatever. And about 4 years ago, I said, I'm kind of done with these. So anytime I'm not in the field or anytime I'm not
Right.
really doing anything, I'll have on sandals. So that day I did. Took my cigar, had it to the hottest it would get, and one of the ashes went down and tucked beneath the strap on my sandal. So I had an extremely hot cigar here, and I have a very high pain threshold.
Right.
So I'm trying to put this out and not burn the place down because we're under burn bans. And it's getting steadily hotter and hotter and hotter.
Just cooking under
So
there.
by the time I throw it in the parking lot, get it out, get my shoe off, I've got a 3rd-degree
Yeah.
burn.
And it's
Deep,
swelled up.
Deep.
Oh.
Yeah, Sarah probably saved me from a hospital visit.
Yeah.
She looked at
You
my...
came hobbling in. I was like, you got to take some
looked-
antibiotics. That's looking like it's going to go gangrene.
Yeah, she looked at my foot and went, as a mom, she's like, whatever. But she goes, you need to get that looked at. And I said, okay.
That looks bad. You should do something about that.
Luckily, my mother-in-law's a nurse, so
Yes.
we took care of it.
Oh, that's handy.
Yeah, I haven't hobbled, but I got a really cool scar.
My husband's not a nurse or anything, but he was in the Marines, and he's a really big fan of liquid skin.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever used liquid skin?
Just super glue is what we use.
Okay. Well, I'd never used liquid skin. I would have rather we used super glue. But we were out on a boat on Lake Powell, and I'm in the water, and I have my hand around an inner tube, and Nathaniel, as a joke, tried to jump into the inner tube. Well, I have long nails. I always have. He came down and came back up and ripped my whole nail off the nail bed. And so it really hurt. I wasn't crying. It was fine. My husband's like, I've got liquid skin. Let's go inside. I can fix it. Like, we'll liquid skin, make sure it doesn't get infected because we're in all this lake water. And I was like, oh, okay. That's totally fine. I've never used liquid skin. Takes me in the bathroom of this boat, gets out his little ditty bags, taking his little liquid skin. He's like, all right, babe, hold still.
And he's smiling like crazy.
Oh my gosh, I screamed. I was like, ah! And everybody else, I was like, are you okay? I was like, what the hell is that stuff? Like, I would have rather have just let my nail be than ever use that stuff again. So now anytime he comes near me, I'm like, what do you got? Because if it's that liquid skin stuff, I'm not doing it.
No, super glue just puts it right back together for you. Has no
stinging.
Yep, and then you
Nothing
just
horrible.
stick it down in acetone like you do for your nails, and it comes right back off.
Yep. See, I would have rather that. That was a horrible experience
just
for
having
me.
fun, actually, at
Yes,
that
he
point.
was
I
like,
think he
"Hey,
was.
listen, we're on this nice vacation. Let me just cause a little bit of pain." Oh man, it hurt.
So my other hobbies are, as you can probably see, I'm a mason and a shriner. Belong to Midian Shrine in Wichita, Kansas. Transitioning here to Texas. We've been here for, actually, last weekend was 1 year.
Oh, was it really? Congratulations! Oh, did you get your dachshund? Bart was getting a dachshund last week.
No, thanks for
No.
bringing it.
Oh,
Thanks for bringing it up, Sarah. No,
What happened to the dachshund?
it was a scam.
Oh well, did you pay them?
A little bit, but not enough to make me too upset. Oh, no. So we have a black Russian cat.
Are you still looking for another dachshund?
Yes.
Though, then?
Yeah, that's supposed to be the Christmas gift for my bride.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
so on that, you really can't just show up and be like, here.
I mean, you can.
You can, but all of a sudden I'm like, it's got 3 legs. I got a discount.
It was on sale.
Exactly.
Well, just don't find any more sales that involve scams.
No.
That's the hard part nowadays of like getting anything online or looking at stuff is you kind of constantly are always thinking like, is this too good to be true? Like, is this real?
Yeah.
And then unless you're paying them with a credit card, it's almost impossible to get your money back. PayPal. You can do it on PayPal.
We did lucky and had Venmo, so we have an option.
Oh, you can report it on Venmo?
Potentially.
Oh, I see. I didn't think that you could.
Yeah, you can report it. I don't know if I'm going to get anything about it. But
You can't on Apple Pay. I know
you
that.
can't?
No. Apple Pay is just like, we're sorry. Shouldn't have done that.
See, y'all, technology, here this side, not so much.
Not so much.
No, I would prefer to talk to you on the phone than text,
Yeah.
which is right reverse of just about everyone now.
Yeah. See, I prefer to text outside of work.
Uh-huh.
And that's probably because I talk on the phone so
Yes.
much at work that by the time I'm done with work, if my phone rings, I'm like, why is the black box making noise? No noises. I just want a break.
Yeah,
so
So my life basically just consists of taking care of the house. My first real experience with our products
yes.
was we have about 100 by 20 garden,
Okay.
and
What all are you growing?
did
or grew?
all of it.
Everything.
Zucchini, squash, okra, tomatoes, corn, which we have to modify.
Do you guys
corn
can?
next year. We do. My bride is amazing at it. Her
Yeah.
grandmother taught her.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we actually had all we could use.
Right.
We were getting ground rot, and there was just too much there, and we were just kind of over it at that point.
Yeah.
So we tilled it under. We're gonna refertilize and make it better
Do it again next year.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah.
What all did you use on it from us, on our product line?
I used my personal favorite, and it's what I talk about all the time, is Advanced-Cal.
Yeah.
Because it does everything for you.
Right.
I love the fact that I tell people it acts like a fertilizer, even though it isn't.
Yes. With all the micronutrients and the enzymes. Yeah, it's phenomenal. I use it on my lawn.
That's
We also obviously use it on the fields and stuff, but
we're
anything. If
We're
it's on
actually-
dirt, put some Advanced-Cal
we're
on it.
applying it to our property, our Advanced-Cal and our Nitro-Maxx, to help control stickers.
Okay.
So all the research again
Yes.
is that it'll inhibit their growth and kind of stop them. You have to kind of remove them a little bit with maybe like one of the vacuum mowers a little
Right.
bit. You have to have something to help along. But over the course of years, it will die out. And if you're baling, unfortunately, they'll stay in there. But they do go away because they just don't
Over time.
regrow.
Right.
And to this point, after we did our first treatment with some stuff in the yard, and then we brought the vacuum behind it, we can walk outside with our shoes off and no
Oh,
stickers at all now.
nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Now, the mower was a huge portion of that.
Yes.
But I think, and this is what I've kind of learned a little bit, is the nitrogen and the calcium kind of releases them from being held down by the roots.
Mm-hmm.
So they just
Kinda loosens it up
become
some.
kind of a sticker, literally. And you
Gotcha.
take it and it doesn't reform. That's the best I can find now, because this isn't exact science,
Right.
but
It's trial and error.
we've had 3 or 4 or 5 people have tried it now, and it's working for them. So we're going to do another dose just to make sure.
Nice.
And it's more fun than anything else.
Yeah, seriously, that's awesome.
While we were kind of on it, do you have any scam stories?
Yeah, he just got scammed from a dachshund.
Yeah, no, do you?
Oh, do I have any scam stories? Have I ever been scammed?
You got
Yes,
caught with a
okay.
pyramid scheme?
So I wouldn't say that it was necessarily a scam or a pyramid scheme. I don't really know what it was. But when I lived in Colorado, my son Liam does football. He likes flag football a lot. I paid what looked like and had posted in one of the Parker, Colorado sites, a legitimate company, $500 for that year's football stuff, and then never heard anything, never nothing. Like, it just off into Never Never Land. I ended up like getting on the site and asking people like, hey, is this real? Like, what's going on? And people are like, well, I paid $2 and have never heard anything. Well, I paid $2 and have never heard anything. And I was like, oh my gosh. Thankfully, I did it on a credit card. So I hopped on my little Discover account. I was like, dispute, never received services. Boom, money back. So I got saved. But I always just get on, and if I'm buying something on Marketplace, I click on the person's profile. I'm like, when was this created? How many posts do you have? Do you have weird things as posts? Before I give any money.
No, that's smart.
Do not want to be scammed.
So you said earlier, so one of my favorite things is when I talk to probably 60-year-old plus.
Yeah.
I love to hear the word snake oil. I am,
Speaking of scams,
yes,
been accused
yeah, your stuff's just snake oil. I said, well, really? And I won't go into what I told him.
with a lot of research.
Yeah, but there,
It's the most researched snake oil I think I've ever seen in my life.
I ended up telling the fella, so did you date your wife or just immediately marry her?
Oh my god.
So you found out a little bit, right? So you don't take everything at face value? Why don't you try a little bit?
Try it and see what you
He
think.
was like, okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But some of them don't.
I don't hear
relent.
that as much as I used to when we first started selling it, and it was really new to the market, and the concept was pretty new as well. I swear I heard it every phone call.
Yeah.
Every phone call was like, well, I think it's snake oil. And now I'll hear it, but it's way more rare than it used to be that I hear about snake oil.
You know, guys told me, well, this is the way my grandpa did it. This is the way he did it. And I said,
Yeah.
well, you're right. But we used to eat almost uncooked meat. And how'd that go for us?
Right. We didn't used to have cell phones.
I know.
I'm talking to you on one.
I wish we didn't either. So
You're like, actually, let's go backwards. I liked not being able to be gotten a hold of. I couldn't do it, though. Live without a cell phone.
we had the 30,
Do you know how much
we had
I
the
Google?
We had a 30-foot cord on the wall so we could walk around the kitchen.
But do you know how much stuff I Google on the day-to-day basis? So much stuff. I Google so many things. Like, I don't know, I could go through my search history. Like, okay, this morning I went to vote. I was like, where's the nearest polling place near me? You know what I mean? Like, I Google so much stuff. It's not even funny. I don't know. Even parenting, I'm like, is red coming out of my child's mouth normal? That's not a great example because it's not normal. But you know what I mean? Like, Okay, here's another one. This morning I Googled, is my 15-month-old not walking in front of his parents but walking at daycare normal? Like, I Google everything.
Well, and that's one of the
How do
things.
I make mashed potatoes?
One of the things in here is we have to be so on point with what we say, because if I don't know something, I say, hey, look, man, I'll get back with you, but I have no idea.
Yes, I need to do some
Yeah,
research.
you don't just arbitrarily, because
No.
again, my customer's pocketbook at the end of the day is
Yes,
what we're focused
and their
on.
livelihood. You know, I'm not just selling you makeup for Mary Kay that you might not like. Like, this is your livelihood. And so, you know, I'm the same way. Like, if I don't know an answer, I will find out and I will get back to you and do the research. I'm not just going to make it up on the fly. It's not worth it.
Even from the 100,000 acre down to the guy who just has 5 and
Yeah.
he's feeding his goats or horses. If his hay isn't up to par, then
Right.
he's going out and buying it, and the quality right
That's
now
expensive.
is garbage.
The quality is garbage,
and
it's
the price is
expensive.
up there. So
Yeah.
the more you can do yourself.
I talked to a guy the other day, and he was talking to me about his cattle and running the product on his pastures. And then he's like, and I've got these damn goats my wife loves. And I was like, ooh, they get out of everything, don't they? He goes, yes. I was like, I'm sorry. I know. I grew up with goats. We spent half of our lives chasing the goats back in.
Yeah, if it has 4 letters, you're going to spend money on it.
Yep.
So goat, boat, wife. What? I am.
I spend money on myself. Thank you very much.
So I am the Joker here at the office, by the way.
This is
I
true.
always have silly jokes that have come with lifetime experience. So I'll tell you my Halloween joke.
Is it able to be aired online?
Ish. No, it's 100%.
All right, go ahead.
So these
Vampires.
three vampires walk into a vampire bar. Bartender goes, "What would you like?" First vampire goes, "I want blood." Second vampire goes, "I want blood." Third vampire, a little progressive, he goes, "I want plasma." Bartender looks at him and goes, "Okay, blood, blood, and blood light."
Blood. Anything else we need to cover? Listen, some of his other jokes are funny, but they cannot be aired
No,
online.
they're more of a let's just.
They're more in the office with the door closed jokes.
So honestly,
No. No.
No. And,
Bart.
And Sarah bent my arm and actually got onto my Facebook page, which I really don't. And I'm sure she has.
You're like, I'll add you. You seem okay, but don't judge me. I was like, okay.
I'm sure you went through it with, oh my gosh.
No, not even a little bit. The only thing I scroll through Facebook and go, oh my gosh, about is if I accidentally click where it's like, on this day, this many years ago, and you go look and see what you said. High school me. Oh, that was painful. Oh, it's so painful to read. It's like, today, I'm going to school. So happy. 4 more days till break, LOL. Hashtag, love you, Brandy, which was my best friend in high school. It's painful. It's all painful. Okay, reading back to it, I'm like, oh, it's so cringe.
Well, see, I was 10 years old when the internet was invented.
Yeah.
So, I didn't have that problem. But honestly, I've had a great time here. Many years
Yes,
to come.
thank you for
I have
coming
a
on.
blast. Always is don't dawdle, don't delay. Call Bart today.
Yeah, that's your slogan?
Yep. So Bart's little slogan in just about everything is don't dawdle, don't delay. Call Bart today for your fertilizer and calcium needs.
I like it. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. I know it was a little sporadic all over the place, but I'm going to be honest with you. That's really just how the office is on a day-to-day basis. There's a lot of ADHD and we go a little stir crazy. But thank you for coming, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you again.
Bye, y'all.